There's a version of you that exists only in other people's minds. And the strangest part, you'll never meet them. Your mother has a version. Your childhood best friend has one. That person you dated 3 years ago, they're still carrying around someone who looks like you, talks like you, but isn't quite you anymore, because you've changed. And here's what no one tells you about that. There's this concept in psychology called the end of history illusion. Researchers found that people can acknowledge how much they've changed in the past. Different beliefs, different tastes, different priorities. But when asked about the future, most people assume they're basically done. That who they are now is who they'll always be. We see our past selves as drafts, but our present self, that feels like the final version, except it never is. Think about who you were 3 years ago. Not the big things, the small things. The music you listened to on repeat, the way you'd spend a Friday night, the thing you thought you could never forgive, the person you thought you'd never stop loving. Some of that probably feels foreign now, like watching someone else's memories. And that's not poetic exaggeration, that's neuroscience. Your brain has literally rewired itself since then. Every experience, every choice, every repeated thought pattern has physically altered the neural pathways in your head. You're not metaphorically a different, you're biologically one, but here's where it gets complicated. Other people don't get the software updates. They're still running a version of you from 2021 or 2019 or whenever they knew you best. And this creates a strange kind of loneliness because you can feel yourself evolving, learning, healing, becoming someone you actually like. But the people around you keep expecting the old model. They're confused when you don't laugh at the same jokes. When you set a boundary you never would have set before. When you're suddenly interested in things that aren't like you. Psychologists call this identity foreclosure. When the people around you lock you into a past version of yourself. And the wildest part, you might be doing it to yourself too. There's a reason why massive life changes often happen after. Moving to a new city, ending a long relationship, switching careers, or even just cutting your hair. It's not the change itself that transforms you. It's the permission. Permission to try on a different version of yourself without someone saying, that's not like you. Permission to be inconsistent with your own history. Permission to betray the person you used to be. Because here's the truth. Most self-help won't tell you. Growth isn't addition, it's replacement. You don't become a better version of yourself by adding good habits on top of old patterns. You become different by letting old parts of you die. And that feels less like progress and more like grief. Maybe that's why we cling to old friendships that don't fit anymore, or stay in jobs that drained us years ago, or keep explaining ourselves to people who knew us when we were 17. It's not loyalty, it's evidence. Evidence that the person we used to be was real, that they mattered, that the time we spent being them wasn't wasted. But here's what I've learned. You don't honor your past self by staying the same. You honor them by becoming what they were trying to become. There's a study on identity development that followed people for over 2 decades, and one finding stood out. The people who reported the highest life satisfaction weren't the ones who found themselves early. They were the ones who gave themselves permission to keep changing, to be unrecognizable, to look back at who they were 5 years ago and think, I'm glad I'm not you anymore. So if you feel like you're becoming someone your younger self wouldn't recognize, good. If the people who knew you back then don't fully understand you now, good. If you've outgrown the stories people tell about who you are, good. That's not loss. That's evolution. And the most honest thing you can do is let it happen. You're not the final version. You never will be. And that's the most freeing thing you'll ever realize. What version of yourself are you leaving behind?